Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Anderson and I'm one of the assistant principals at Harmony Science Academy Cedar Park. And I'm going to take the next few minutes to go over some of our changes for the 2020-2021 school year. So my goal is to help you be able to find the access point for the Schoology account through the My Harmony portal dashboard, review a few resources and how to use them in the Schoology system, and then understand behavioral and academic expectations from our remote learning environment. So Schoology is our first one, and that is how it's pronounced. What is Schoology? Schoology is our new learning management system. And I'm going to show you guys how to get to your new Schoology accounts. So we're in the process of setting this up, but I can show you how to get to it when it's there. The first step would be go to your child's My Harmony portal dashboard and then click on the Schoology icon. So I'm going to exit my presentation and show you that. On our school's website, up here in this top corner, it says My Harmony. This is a link to our My Harmony portal. And I was still logged in again. I'm going to go ahead and log out just so I can show you what happens. I'm going to click on this My Harmony portal link again. And here's where you would put in the student ID number. So I'm going to go ahead and just log into me. You can claim their portal there as well. There's a link down at the bottom for that. Here, once you're in your My Harmony portal, you'll have all of these wonderful tiles. Any tile that's this yellow tannish color in the background doesn't require additional login information, and Schoology is one of those. So once you're in your portal, all students would need to do, this is a student portal, would click on this S for Schoology, and then they'll be automatically into their own personal Schoology account. Any of these tiles down here that are just white behind them do require additional login information. I'm going to jump back over to our presentation. So that's access through the My Harmony portal dashboard. So Schoology, our new learning management system, has endless possibilities. I like that, and it really does. Our Schoology platform will allow for our teachers to link in any of their Google Classroom links that they used last year. They can share resources and links with students very, very easily. They can create assignments in Schoology and grade them there. And it all links and corresponds back to our Skyward system. So this is what we're working on right now. Right now, currently on campus and virtually, we are including all of this wonderful information into Skyward and making sure it's right, making sure your student schedules are all in there. And then once that's set, then they're going to, our techie friends are going to sync Skyward and Schoology together. And that's going to create the courses for our students where they're going to go into their courses and see their assignments with their teachers. And their teachers will help walk them through that. Then once things are graded, everything will sync back over to our courses and in Skyward. So you as parents can see their absences, you can see their grades and all that great jazz in Skyward still. So that's not going away. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you guys take a quick look here. There's 5 different links here for short little videos on Skyward, or on Schoology, on Schoology, for how to access courses, how to complete an assignment in Schoology, how to take an online quiz or test in Schoology, how to check grades in Schoology, and pause the video, but just so you have those links. Okay, so now for our remote learning behavior expectations. We have a few norms. There's 6 of our online learning norms that all of our students are going to be asked to follow. The first one is having our cameras on. So we want to maintain school appropriate behavior even though we're at home, and we can help do this by being able to see the students. We want to ensure that our students are fully dressed. School uniform is not required, but we do want to follow the free dress day policy. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. And then only the student is visible in the screen as much as possible. And then we want our students to come in with our mics off. And this just helps reduce background noise and gives the teacher the opportunity to give clear instructions to all of the students. As much as possible, we want our students to be able to communicate through the chat. So talking out in front of the whole class just eliminates some of that distraction that could happen. We understand that some of our students are a little young for using the chat, and we'll help them navigate and work through that as well. We want our students to have a quiet place. We understand that we're in virtual learning, and we understand that lots of things are going on at home, but trying to find a place that's a consistent place and as quiet as possible for our students while they're learning is best. And that materials are ready. So if they need a pencil, if they need paper, anything is just right there ready to go. And that our students' minds are on. They're ready to be engaged in learning. So we want our scholars to remain muted until their teacher has unmuted them. And the first few weeks of school, we'll teach students how to mute and unmute themselves just so that we can, help them with that responsibility themselves. And we'll show them the Zoom raise hand and all of those fun features. So we want to make sure that we keep our dialogue on task and on subject. We want to make sure that what we're talking about in our meetings is appropriate. And again, we understand, we're working with, 4 to 10 or 11-year-olds. So as much as possible, we want to remind our students and our scholars that we use appropriate academic talk in our meetings. And there will be times when it's community building and morning meeting time where they'll get to talk about other items. So, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but making sure that only the Harmony Scholar is visible on the screen. Other things going on behind them can be really distracting for other learners and for the teacher. So just as much as possible, trying to find a good quiet place that's up against a wall in their background so that distraction isn't there. So our core values, and this is our SOAR for our Eagles. So we're going to strive to do our best. We're going to own our actions. We're going to always do our best and respect ourselves and others. And those are things that we'll go over in our Zoom meetings with our students as the school year starts. And our dress code. I mentioned this earlier. We are not requiring our students to have their Harmony uniform shirts on for virtual learning, but we do require all of our students to follow the free dress guidelines. That means that we have sleeves on our shirts, it's not see-through, and there's no violence or vulgar images on their clothes. So there are a few things that we can do, even through virtual learning, to help remind students, of our expectations. We're going to practice, and give students an opportunity to really understand the norms and work through them together. Our teachers will also give verbal warnings. They can turn off the audio and the camera to students. They can send students to the waiting room, but we will always make sure that we communicate with families and work with students to help make sure that our norms can be followed. We want to make sure that we use appropriate communication. So we want to try to stay away from slang words, from text lingo in the chats. We want to make sure that our posts are on topic and be as concise as possible when we're using up our Zoom live meetings. We also want to make sure that we try not to use that all caps because it could mean yelling to some people. So we want to limit and possibly avoid the use of those emoticons. Be careful. We want to teach our children and our scholars to be careful with personal information, both our teachers and our parents and their own personal information. And we want parent communication with teachers should be through email or a parent conference. So in those live Zooms, it's not the best place for parents and teachers to be communicating. We want to make sure that that's a private conversation in a separate place. And then, just don't send confidential information in the chat or through an email. You can make a phone call. So we have Chromebooks that we have been able to give out, and we're working on getting ready for our students. We just want to make sure that our Chromebooks are used appropriately from the Harmony policy. And then they're used only for educational purposes. So we don't want our students to get on for fun and playing games on them. We want to make sure that they stay nice and safe for those educational classes. We don't want our students to share passwords with anyone. And if you think someone else might know your password, we want you to change it. We want you to know that cyberbullying or bullying in general is not tolerated. And always log out when you're finished with a Chromebook so that when the next person comes on and the next person gets it, they won't be able to get your information. So more information on our Chromebooks can be found here, this harmonytx.org/parents link. We will be working with a positive behavior system this year. So similar to our Eagle Bucks last year, we are going to give PBS points. They're virtual points out to our students for doing certain things. Some of the things they can earn by earning these PBS points, they can earn show and tell time, karaoke time, they can introduce a family pet, earn extra test points. So we'll be encouraging this positive behavior system to help encourage our students to follow our norms and do their best work using that SOAR. So our Harmony Public Schools Student and Parent Handbook, I'm going to show you really quick where that can be found. That's also on our website. So here's our school's website, and here we go. So under students, I found it right here, a Student and Parent Handbook. This is the link to that. So any questions, any references, we can look back there. Our last chunk here. So academic expectations. So our remote learning here in the fall is different from what it was last spring. And hopefully this can kind of go over some of our questions. I'm going to focus on this remote learning side really quick. So students will join live sessions via Zoom. We are passing out Chromebooks and iPads as quickly as we can get them out to you. We'll have a Schoology lesson, and all of our resources will be listed in there. So the same learning resources that our in-person students, when that happens, are going to be available remotely. It's exactly the same. And we're going to use interactive products like Nearpod and Edpuzzle to help engage our students. And we're also going to offer a self-paced option of the lesson that could be available if the student's sick or they're just not able to log in with the Zoom. So asynchronous remote learning, which is a one-way learning experience where a student engages in learning resources on their own and interacting with the teacher at different times. Or a synchronous remote learning is two-way live instruction in which students and teachers engage in learning through computers and conferencing tools. So both of these options are available. We do recommend that students log in via the Zoom as much as possible. Our teachers are there. They're able to give feedback right away. The option to do it at a different time is there and is available to you as parents and students, but you won't be able to get the same feedback. You won't have that community feel of being involved in your class. So we are trying to keep all of our students logged in and together through that synchronous instruction. Here is a sample schedule. So this right here from 8 to 9, this is just for in-person students. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to refer to that right now. But starting at 9 o'clock is lesson 1. And this is our first lesson for remote students. This could be math, this could be reading, this could be PE. And that's a 50-minute lesson where the teacher is going to come on, start the lesson, give the students a do now type of activity, something to engage them and get them excited about that learning, or review a previous topic, and then go into their little mini lesson where they get that new piece of information. And then give the students an opportunity to practice right there in that 50-minute lesson. And towards the end, the last 5 or so minutes of class, the students will be given an exit ticket. And that exit ticket will give students an opportunity to show the teacher what they learned in that lesson so that the teacher can make adjustments for the next lesson. So all of our students have this lessons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, with this 12 to 12:50 being their lunch and recess slot. One of these 5 lessons will be considered a blended learning time, where students will have an opportunity to log into things like RAS and Dreambox on that end as well. At the beginning of this school year, this blended learning time will also be live so that we have an opportunity to show students how to access these programs and make sure everybody's together and knows the expectations and can keep track of what they've completed. In pre-K and kindergarten, we will follow the E for excellent, S for satisfactory, and needs improvement, and X not assessed for our grades. Grades come out quarterly, and pre-K and kindergarten will use this E, S, and an X tool. First through 5th grade, we use a number system. So anything from 90 to 100 is considered an A. A B would be 80 to 89, and a C would be 70 to 79. So we want you guys to also know we do have our formative, our assessment, our daily grades. So things that they're doing, their exit tickets in class, any of their guided practice or independent practice during those live Zooms can be used for this 70%. And in the course of a 9-week grading period, they should have about 6 of those recorded in the grade book. So not everything your child will do will end up being graded, but a number of them, a good number to make a well-rounded grade for the quarter, the 9 weeks. We also have at least 2 test grades. This could be a test, this could be a major project or a major paper that your student turns in. We need at least 2 of those every grading period, just so the student has an opportunity to make it up if they don't do as well on the first one. And then homework, this will vary. So mostly for our school, we want to encourage our students to have choice reading, so self-selected books, and then also access to their Dreambox or RAS or Alex accounts. We feel that those give students an opportunity to have that differentiated instruction without us just providing like a one size fits all for students through like a worksheet or something like that for homework. So we really do encourage our online programs in that homework section. And this is for high school and middle school, so we don't need that. And I wanted to let you guys know that if you have questions, which I'm sure you have so many questions, I know that we have been navigating through a few of those. On Thursday, the 13th at 5 p.m., we will be live, the admin team, to answer questions and to go back over this information with you guys. And we will also be available on Friday, the 14th of August at noon to do the same thing. So we look forward to seeing everybody. We can't wait to work with you and navigate through this together.